And I don't know that I like that smell. But I'm gonna trust the process. Hey everyone, Brittany here from Just Be Crafty. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, I thought it would be fun to take you along with me while I tried to make my very own wool wash. So I've just kind of done a couple internet searches to try to figure out how I want to go about making it. And it's not so much as a tutorial as just kind of you're hanging out with me while I am making it. So I really hope that it turns out. I have a pair of socks right here that I've been wanting to wash for a while, and I don't want to throw them in the washing machine again. I want to clean them properly with some wool wash. Everything that I'm using today, I'll be sure to have linked in the description box below. And let me just tell you everything that I have out right now. I have an electric kettle, liquid measuring cup, just a little stainless steel bowl, a teaspoon, measuring spoon, a couple essential oils, little container of lanolin, some pure coconut oil soap, natural Castile liquid soap base, and just a couple of plastic jars that I can put my soap in when I am done. So to get started, I am going to turn this on. Okay, so right now I have my electric kettle turned on and ready to boil. And so the first step that I want to do is I want to dilute some of this lanolin. This is the Lanolin Ultra Refined. It comes in a solid paste. So I am just going to dilute a little bit of this, about a teaspoon of this, into some hot water. So let's get that going. So I'm just gonna take a teaspoon, about a teaspoon of this. It's probably pretty good. Okay, and we're just gonna stick that in this little bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands. My water is almost boiling, so I'm just gonna grab a spoon. All right, so I have a spoon right here. My water has now boiled, and I'm going to just take that and stir in probably about a cup of that boiling water. And I'm just gonna let that dissolve. So I'm not gonna be making a ton of wool wash soap today, so I probably won't be adding all of this lanolin in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put the lid back on there. And I'm just gonna let that sit and dissolve while we put together, ouch, that's hot. Okay, this is my first video like this, obviously. Okay, so that, like, I don't know, it smells kind of weird, but I'm gonna trust the process. All right, so I have my liquid measuring cup. I'm gonna add my Castile soap in here. So I think the website that I was looking at said that they used about a 70-30 proportion with liquid Castile soap to the liquid coconut oil soap. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think these are probably about 12 ounces. So I don't know, I'm gonna do 2 cups. So 70-30. How do I figure out the math for that? Okay, I'm gonna figure out the math for that really quick. I'm gonna do 12 ounces of the liquid Castile soap, and I'm going to do the remaining 4 ounces in the coconut oil soap. So I'm just gonna go ahead and combine these. Okay, so I'm just gonna dump this in here. So that is about 12 ounces, and then I am going to do the rest in the coconut oil soap. I'm doing about 4 ounces of this. All right, so it looks like my lanolin is now completely dissolved. Just gonna take that spoon and I'm gonna stir this soap around. So we're making a pretty concentrated soap. So basically whenever you would use this wool wash, I'll probably just use about like a tablespoon or even less, like maybe like a teaspoon into like an entire basin of water. I grab that teaspoon that we had earlier. And I'm gonna add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I did about 6 teaspoons of the diluted lanolin mixture into here. Okay, perfect. So we've got that stirred up. So now we are going to add in a little bit of our essential oils. So I have 2 cups here. So let's see. I'm going to use the Palo Santo and mahogany. The little dropper things came off in the lid, so I can't really add a drop, but we're just going to add basically a drop. Just like maybe like 2 drops. Maybe that's like 4. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add in a few drops of the cedar and amber. Okay, that's about like 2 or 3 drops. All right, so let's stir that up. Real nice stir. Let's smell it and see if we can smell it. Not really. Kind of smells like just plain soap. And I don't know that I like that smell. Okay, let's add a little bit more of that. Let's see. I don't know that this wash is all that it's cracked up to be. I might have to leave this for the professionals. Kind of disappointed. I'm gonna add a little bit more. It smells way better. I think it just needed a little bit more of the essential oils, and I might add in just like a little bit more of the Palo Santo and mahogany. I think that I just wasn't using enough. That smells good. Okay, it smells way better now. I'm way happier with this now. All right, so now I can go ahead and put this into my jars. I have a nice funnel here, and I am going to just simply pour this in here and just pour that in carefully, kind of sudsy on the top. Okay, that one is full. Well, it's not quite full, but it's almost full. Ooh, look at that. Okay. All right, now let's get my other one. I do have more, and it looks like I'm going to need more from all the sudsy bubbles. It's kind of making a mess. All right, it looks like these are little 8-ounce jars, and I think I knew that when I placed this order, but that was kind of a while ago. So just kind of be careful. This kind of makes a complete mess when you're doing it. This made almost 4 complete 8-ounce jars, but I spilled some, and some of them were a little overfilled, and some of them are, like this one, are underfilled. But so that actually made quite a lot, and I have a lot of the lanolin left over, which I don't really know what I'm gonna do with. I'm gonna go ahead and get all of this cleaned up. So now I'm ready to go ahead and wash my socks. So I'm really excited to see how it goes, and so I'll wash those, and then we'll check in a couple of days after the socks have completely dried, and we'll see how it turns out. So what I'm gonna do is I have one of these basins. You can either use the basin of your sink or some sort of like plastic container like this. I got this from the dollar store. You know, these work really great for blocking your stuff or, you know, washing your knit and crochet items. So I'm just gonna get some hot water going out of the tap, and I'm gonna fill this puppy up, and we'll put in some wool wash, and we'll get the socks washing. All right, so I have my basin of water full, or not basin, I guess. It's like I have my plastic container filled with tap hot water, and I'm gonna put about a tablespoon of wool wash into the water. Put that around in there, and the water feels silky, silky soft. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna throw the socks in there, and we're just gonna let those soak for a little while. I'll probably let these sit for about 10 or so minutes, and then I will take them out and we will let them set to dry. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes, and it's time to take my socks out of their little wool wash bath. And so in the meantime, I grabbed myself a nice thirsty towel, and I have it still basically folded like so. And what I'm gonna do is, so I'm just putting this stuff aside. So now you can kind of see my hands. All right, so now I am going to basically gently pull my socks out of their bath. You don't want to wring it out, but I do want to kind of squeeze out as much water as I can without wringing it out. But yeah, you want them to be basically as water-free as they can be. Okay. Oh, they feel so soft. They really do. The smell is not quite there, but I think that it's the lanolin. I'm not happy with the way the lanolin smells. So I don't know. I don't know if I use too much lanolin. This feels really, really conditioned. So the lanolin is what, oh yikes, these look yucky. It's just like, I have pets, and so walking around on the floor, I collect a lot of fur. So anyway, so that is my yucky, dirty water. Looks kind of gross, but that's why we're here. That's why we're giving these little puppies a bath. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just roll this up and just press. And actually I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it on the floor and I'm gonna step on it to kind of squeeze out as much water as I can. I'm not gonna film that though. So I'm gonna do that and then we'll take these out. All right, so I did that. I stepped on it. All right, I think I got as much water out of these little guys. Oops. I think I got as much water out of these little guys as I possibly can. And what I'm gonna do is I have these sock blockers, and I typically don't, after washing my socks. So when I block my socks for the very first time, I usually use the sock blockers. After washing them, I usually just let them hang dry. But today I'm gonna just go ahead and put the socks on the blockers. I do think that they dry. They do dry pretty quick when you do that. Okay, so I have these, and I'm just gonna take these, I'm just gonna hang them up in my laundry room, and then that way let them air dry, and then we will check back in when they're dry and see how they did. So before we see the end result, because that'll be in a couple days from now, my first takeaway is I think I used too much lanolin. So I dissolved about a teaspoon into, kind of a heaping teaspoon into about a cup of boiling water, and then into about 16 ounces of my soap solution, I added about 6 teaspoons of the diluted lanolin solution. And I think that might have been a little bit too much. I'm curious to see, it feels a little greasy because I don't want this to be a rinse solution. This should just be something that I want this to be a no rinse soap. So we'll see. And I feel like that smell of the lanolin is just so strong, and I don't know, I don't care for it. I really don't care for it. I don't know, not everyone might find it offensive. I find it kind of, it offends me. It offends me. But yeah, I'll check in. Let me smell these. I don't know. They don't really smell good. I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought that they would smell better. I don't know, it smells like a can of green beans. I definitely not perfected this. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video was just to make the wool wash along with me. And I don't know, I'm not gonna say it's a fail quite yet, but we shall see. Okay, so a few days and a new manicure later, I'm left with my dry socks. The verdict on the smell is they actually smell really good. What is left over after they've dried is really just the scent of the essential oil blend that I used. I will say that next time I make wool wash, I would like to add more essential oils just to make that smell come out a little bit stronger, but not too terribly much, because you definitely don't want to add too much. But another thing I want to correct myself on, I thought I did not like the scent of lanolin. And it's not the lanolin I didn't like, but the Castile soap. Castile soap, if you've never smelled it, you probably have, but just plain Castile soap has it's a strong scent. That's the scent that I was smelling, and I thought it was the lanolin, so I was blaming the lanolin. The lanolin's a pretty mild smell, but it's the Castile soap that had more of a strong scent. So the texture of the socks has definitely improved. Now these, I will say they were soft before. These were knit up with superwash merino wool, which is already a nice soft fiber. But after washing, the lanolin acts as a conditioner for the wool and just makes your project so soft. It also almost adds a protective kind of layer or barrier on your project, so that way it can last a little bit longer between washings. And honestly, with any of your hand knits, you want to wash your items as little as possible to help keep them fresh and new, and washing them with a proper wool wash that has lanolin in it will definitely help do that. So in conclusion, I'm actually really happy with the wool wash recipe that I did. I'll have those measurements in the description box below, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of something different, so I hope you had fun, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!